everyone, and welcome back to the pod. I find it so actually really awkward introducing myself in front of Jess. This is take number 700.
It's only number 2 actually, but
yeah. But if you haven't noticed by now, I do have a guest on today's episode, which I am so happy about. Been a long time coming. I don't really know where to look either because I'm filming it today and it feels really unnatural. It feels really strange. But I wanted to do something a little bit different today. So for anyone who doesn't know Jess is like literally one of my best friends. She works with me and we've only known each other for what, like a year?
A year, yeah. Not long.
And we're at very different points, like in our quarter life crisis era. But I thought a really important topic today would be to talk about being single in your quarter life crisis, because I can't unfortunately talk about it, but I love listening to Jess all the time, telling me all of her crazy, weird and wonderful stories. And you know what, it brings back memories listening to Jess.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm in a very happy relationship, but it's just something that I think a lot of us can relate to. So I'm so happy to finally have you on. We've been talking about it for ages. But yeah, so today's episode is going to be all about being single, and Jess is going to give you all some really good advice. She's
I hope so anyway.
All of the horror stories, so you can listen to it as well as me. We are like a bottle of wine down, which does help a little bit. Doesn't help so much with the sweats.
I feel like I'm going to drop myself in it a few times.
Yeah, like I was having a look before and I've literally got the shiniest face ever. I'm not a fan of recording, but do you know what? Night in, new sofa.
Yeah,
thought might as well. New sofa, new me. So to start off with, I am going to look at my phone a few times because she needs a little bit of a rejig.
And I'm just going to look at you because I'm quite nervous.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is literally just like an insight to mine and Jess's everyday conversations, which could be a good or a bad thing. Could be a fucking terrible thing, actually.
Yeah.
But, sip of the wine with you then. Get a little bit dry. So, I feel like the first thing I should ask you is, how long have you been single? Give us a little bit of a background and tell us why you've been the perfect candidate for today.
Oh God.
Tell us all about it.
Single for I think it's been about 2.5 years now, like coming up to 3. So quite a while, I would say.
Quite a long time.
Well, I mean, in comparison to friends, I mean, most of my friends have kind of jumped from relationships, so I feel like that is actually quite a long time to be on your own.
Do you think though that the last couple of years has just gone so fast? If you were to say, like, even when I met you, for example, it would have only been a year and a half, and now it's 2.5. Do you not think the time just goes really fast?
I think taking COVID into consideration as well, obviously, I feel like that kind of took some time away from me. So
I know. I mean, I don't really know. So remind me how long COVID was. Were you ever in a relationship over?
Yeah, so I was still in a relationship when the first lockdown got announced. So it's
that is make or break.
Well, no, I mean, something not great happened. I mean, when the first lockdown got announced, I think it was maybe a few days later, I actually got some bad news about that current relationship that I was in, that, you know, unfaithful kind of things have been happening.
We'll get on to that.
Yeah, we'll get on to that.
What a dirty boy.
What a dirty boy.
What a dirty boy.
Obviously, you normally, during that time, if you're going through a bad time like that, you spend time with your friends, you go out with the girls, you know, do things like that. And we'd just been thrown into a lockdown. It was all brand new, and I just crazy. So yeah, I was in the relationship, and my mum was very strict during lockdown, so I wasn't allowed to see my boyfriend at the time.
Oh, God.
He was allowed to come and have a walk with me every week.
That must have been so hard.
It was difficult. It was hard. And when I got home, my mum would check that I still had my lipstick on and my lip gloss on to check that we hadn't actually touched each other.
Jess's mum is out there.
She's out there. She was strict, so yeah, that was hard. So yeah,
that
that's
been so hard. I mean, I can remember during that lockdown is probably like, I feel like everyone said during that time, like, it either will make you or break you as a couple.
A lot of relationships didn't survive.
Yeah, like me and Cal were forced to basically live together because that's what we couldn't do, and I was already at his like so much that it like for us, that was the time where we had to live together. I can't imagine what it must have been like, sort of being in that environment.
Not living together, It just wasn't an option for us at the time, and in hindsight, it ended up not being a great relationship. So obviously, I'm kind of glad we didn't get thrown into that, because that would have made things a lot more difficult when it sort of ended. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
Do you think it was for maybe a good reason that all that happened?
Yeah, I mean, I know that you're the exact same. I am a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, and I do think
big up
Nads. I do think that there was a reason why we weren't in the position to live together or anything of the sort, because it just would have been a lot more sticky when it came to ending it. So
I wrote this down for
yes, of
course.
Like
a little bit.
I feel like that'll be all gone in 2 minutes if
I know.
leave that in your hand.
I know. I'm like,
yep.
So tell us about the ex. Tell us.
Oh gosh.
I mean, I've heard, but I feel like I need a recap.
You know bits.
I know bits.
Yeah.
But I don't know the full shebang.
Yeah.
So tell us.
Well, I think it was about 3.5 years in the end, and it was, to be fair, it was a good relationship at the beginning. It didn't really end so well.
No, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of getting messages from other girls saying that he'd been sorry,
getting comfortable.
Oh god. Messages from other girls saying, oh, he's been speaking to me, blah blah blah. I said, we were thrown into that lockdown, and I just felt really on my own. I couldn't see my friends, so I think I just stayed with him because I thought I didn't feel strong enough at that point to walk away. I knew what was coming, but I think maybe it happened once, and then 6 months later down the line it happened again, another girl, and then I think it was a few months after that I ended up getting a message from a girl that I know saying that he'd got with somebody else at a party. So that was the end of that one. I mean, if that had happened in when the lockdown first got announced, I think I still would have stayed with him.
That is crazy talk. Jessica wouldn't say anything like that these days.
She's
a new woman.
She is a new woman now.
That is crazy. And I would not have let you either.
No, definitely not. But I mean, lockdown, I felt so on my own. Like most people deal with breakups by going out with the girls and doing that. But I think when it did finally come to, I say finally, like I think I did start getting over it before it ended. I think when I got that first message from a girl, I was like mentally checked out. I was kind of done in my head, but.
Yeah, I suppose in that time though, lockdown, you're completely like, your head is in your phone.
Yeah.
That must have been like traumatic.
Yeah, it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice. But
I can't imagine that.
The first message was awful. The first message I ever got from somebody, because I genuinely believe we were in a really good place. I didn't think there was any issue. We had our problems, but everyone does. It doesn't mean you go out and seek somebody else. But I think by the time it came to actually break up, I was mentally checked out. I knew it wasn't going to change.
Yeah, you sort of waited for
He'd done it once, seen how hurt I was, and continued to do it. So I kind of knew in my head, this is not the person I'm going to marry. Like, imagine telling that story to your kids. That do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want that for my children either.
I find it crazy that in this day and age that like it's such an accepted thing, and like it's so strange to me.
Everybody cheats. Like,
it gives me anxiety.
It's
it literally
scary.
gives me anxiety. Like, we were talking about this before, and I know you say like, I've got a really good egg, and I believe that. But like, it fucking scares the shit out of me how so many people will think that everything's great, but they really don't know what's going on. So
people do make mistakes though. Like, I'm so against cheating because of course, like I've been through it. Somebody's done it to me, but I am a firm believer that it's kind of easy to tell whether somebody made a mistake. Like they've just gone out, they've got really drunk, and they've kissed somebody, and they really didn't mean to. I think there's a really big difference between that and actively messaging somebody and getting into bed with somebody. Like, you don't just jump into bed with somebody. Like, there's a lot of talk that happens before that. There would have been flirting before that. You've had a long time to think about what you're about to do. And I think that's almost like premeditated, whilst just having a random drunk kiss with somebody on a night out. It is still cheating, and I am not saying that it's okay.
I was going to say, are you a forgiver?
I think it just really depends. It really depends on the situation for me.
I agree, yeah.
I don't think after what's happened to me, I could forgive someone even for a drunk kiss now, because I've seen it.
There's too much untrust after that. I think after that point, it's like, well, what's next?
Yeah.
Where does it start? Where does it stop?
Yeah.
So, On the subject of cheating, what do you actually... So you haven't really delved into exactly what happened, and I'll leave it up to you as to whether you want to do that. But kind of, how did it feel for you? And is there a reason that you think it happened? I know earlier when we were talking, you were saying that you think that there's reasons behind why people do it. So what was it that happened for you? And I don't want to like dig up old wounds.
Oh no, I'm fine.
But I feel like it's
water
important
under the bridge.
I think a lot of people who go through that and deal with like cheating and stuff, it can be so hard, and people probably think, well, like, how the hell do I get to the other side of that? So like, what was that for you? And do you find it hard to like trust other people now?
Yeah, I don't really. I'd say now I would hate it if I met somebody and they didn't trust me because of something somebody else did to them. I just don't think that's fair. So I actually don't think in the long term it's affected me in the trust sense. And I do think that you do learn to spot the signs really early on. Like my ex he cheated on his ex-girlfriends before me. I knew that's what he was like, but I had it in my head that I was going to fix the boy. I was going to be the one that changed
You wanted a project.
I wanted a project.
You don't need a project.
No, lesson number one is you shouldn't
sake.
have to fix somebody. Like, that's number one. But I think it almost helped me that he messed up a few times before he actually cheated, because like I said, I'd mentally started getting over it. So when we actually broke up, I thought that I would be, a mess. And don't get me wrong, I was for a week though. I thought it'd be months. And I did when I was with him, I did put on quite a lot of weight. I'd got very comfortable. I wasn't happy in my own
Always
skin.
happens when you're in a
It
relationship.
does. I was eating. Like, he went to the gym all the time. I didn't. That wasn't what I was into, but I was still eating as much as he was. Like, I did put a lot of weight on.
It's you eat the 5,000 calories like they do, and then you're like, actually,
and then just don't go to the gym either.
I'm a heifer. It's already happened.
It really it happened quite quickly. But when we broke up, I think I was quite self-conscious. I didn't really compare myself to the girl that he cheated on me with. That didn't really happen for me, because I just thought, in the point that he was at, it wasn't even that. I just think he would have taken anyone. I think he was just
dirty boy.
But I just that didn't really bother me. I didn't really compare, but I thought in my own head, I want to make myself feel better, and instead of getting really upset about it, I decided to just make a change, and I started doing HIIT workouts at home quite a lot, because obviously COVID was on and off at the time. I think I lost nearly 3 stone in the end.
Did you? Is this while you were still together then?
No, this is after we split up. I did it very, very quickly, but still in a healthy manner. I wasn't starving myself or anything. I just really got into it. Lost the weight, got my teeth done, which is something that had bothered me for quite some time. Shout out to Primo Dental. But yeah, I just made some changes, and I made myself feel better first. It still felt weird when I saw him. Like, I had to see him on nights out and stuff, but
I would have. No, I wouldn't have hit the roof. I'm not that violent, but I would have become violent.
You know what? I just chose, and for me, I can be quite immature. I don't always take the high road.
I was gonna say,
but I thought I'm gonna be an adult about this. And when I saw him, I just played it really cool, and I just didn't let it faze me really.
I feel like it sounds very like mature of you, even to the point where I think a lot of the time, girls, if they're the ones who've been cheated on, or anybody, for example, it tends to be that they blame the person who their partner cheated with.
Yeah,
whereas
I didn't even
because we don't like a girl on girl hate over here.
No,
we don't. And for all you know, for all anybody knows, you've got no idea what actually happened in the scenario. So like, you don't know who instigated it. You can't really put the blame on this person that you don't know, because what do they sort of owe to you?
I mean, I find it, from what I know, she didn't know that he had a girlfriend. I personally find that really hard to believe. Like, Chester's a very small place. I don't know if she knew or not, but she's single. He's in a relationship. Yeah, it's one of those things, but
you get a lot of that though.
You do get a lot of that.
I mean, especially you go out and you'll tell a boy that you're in a relationship, and I feel like they want you more.
They want you more. They think challenge accepted.
Yeah.
I went out last night and I had to put my ring on a random
I've
finger
done that.
on my wedding finger.
This one was on
and
the wedding finger.
He did not care.
It makes it worse. They
And
think it's a challenge.
I know, and it wasn't. And it took me actually. I don't like having to like shout at anyone. I'm not an aggressive person, but it took me actually having to say, "Leave me alone." Like even flashing a ring in his face made no difference, but. It is what it is.
It only makes the worst difference, I find.
It is. And I just want to say, for the record, women are just as bad.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just guys.
I mean, I am a man hater, to say the least.
I don't want to sit here and just be like, men are trash, it's all their fault.
I do.
Because,
I'm joking.
well,
I'm joking.
It's not
that is the regular topic.
I know people
I
know girls that have done it. I know
yeah,
guys that have done it.
I completely agree.
I do have to say guys do tend to be worse, but
if I'm being fair, like, yeah, it's not all about hating the men, even though, as I say, that's
which one is mine?
It is the left one. I've fucking drank a pint of mine before.
This is mine.
Yeah. So, back to your relationship. You've ended, found out he's a fucking dirty boy, and you've finally had enough, you've put him in the bin, so you're single, and then what would you say for people who are watching, listening, why do you think, or do you think that it's important to be single after you've been in any relationship, regardless of cheating, regardless of anything? There's a lot of people who we know will go from one relationship straight to the next, and I feel like some people find, I'm just doing this one sec, okay, I think some people find an identity in, it's almost like they lose their identity so much being in a relationship that they don't know how to be alone, so then they end up just jumping from one to the next.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts like?
I feel really strongly on this, that you really, really strongly. No, I do, honestly, it really annoys me. Like, I get it, you can come out of a relationship and potentially meet the love of your life, and like, you can't help when that's timed, but I do really, really think you need a good amount of time on your own. Yeah. Because it's my sort of theory behind why people cheat. I think if you jump from relationship to relationship, how do you know what you actually like and what you don't like? If you've not been out on dates and like tested the water a little bit and you just jump into another relationship, in my head I would still be sort of comparing, looking at other people who I find attractive, for example, and thinking, could I be happier? Could they be a better person for me? Yeah. But I think if you spend some time dating and not finding yourself, I don't want to do the whole finding myself chat, because I think you are who you are, but
I talk enough about that when you're not around on the pod.
No, I mean, you do find yourself, but I mean, at my age, I know who I am. Yeah. But I think after that relationship, I didn't necessarily know what I wanted, because he was all I'd known for the last like 3 or 4 years. So
you'd not been around enough to know.
Yeah, no, but like I know what I definitely didn't want after that scenario. But I explained to you earlier, I think somebody, I can't remember where I read this, and I wish I could remember, and I can't remember who said it, but somebody once said
the magical quotes.
The magical quotes coming out. It wasn't even a quote, but I can't remember who said it. But apparently, it takes half the time that you're in a relationship to get over that relationship. And I was with my ex for 3 years, I think, roughly, maybe 3.5.
And it's like a crazy amount of time to think about.
It's a long time.
It's a long time, and then half of that time even seems long. Yeah. But also, I'm sure it. But it flew by. But for that first 18 months, I did actually start seeing somebody quite soon after my ex. Lovely guy, like nothing, like he wasn't like my ex, like in that sense, but there was things that weren't right. I don't think he was particularly happy at the time, and I just thought, I can fix him. I can help him. No. I can do this. I can. Yeah. You're not his mother.
But this is what I mean. Like, why? Like, for that first 18 months, I was just going for people who I thought I could fix, and that is exactly where I went wrong in my previous relationship. And I just thought, this is just like the same thing happening again here. You shouldn't have to think, oh, I'm going to be the girl that changes him. You shouldn't have to change him. You shouldn't have to teach him anything. Like, he should just be the right person. And I think it took me a while to get over that.
Yeah, because arguably, like, as you going back to what you were saying before about, you know, I think there's a fine line between testing the waters and knowing like whether or not this type of person is the right person, and then also having that like timing element of, okay, well, sometimes you get like boys who are just really immature, perhaps they've not had a relationship before.
Yeah.
And I think when it's the right person, you sort of meet at the right time. So they've had their time to learn about things, you've had your time to learn about things.
Yeah.
And like they probably wouldn't have been the same person if you'd met them at another point.
Not. And I mean, that's what I've realised as well. I mean, before my ex, I don't think I would have ever gone out with anybody that was younger than me, ever.
Was he younger?
No, my ex was older.
Okay.
But
now she loves a toy boy.
Oh. No, not
I can't wait to get onto like Tinder.
Oh God, we'll get to the
Not
online
me
dating.
personally. I
But
mean,
no, not-
Jess's Tinder stories.
Oh God, not even Tinder. It's Hinge. Like it used to be Tinder that was a bad one.
This is like she's been in a relationship for
I
5
know.
years.
Tinder used to be the one.
I don't even fucking know what Hinge is.
It's not anymore.
But,
But no, I would never normally go for a younger guy before my ex. It never used to be a thing, did it? Like even when you were throughout school, like it was just like this unwritten rule that you don't go for anyone younger than you. Like
legit.
you always go for a guy
I had
that's
so
older.
much anxiety around all of that. I mean,
Really?
even now I'm like, when I talk about the fact that Carl's a year younger, I'm like, yeah, but he's only 8 months younger. Like,
Yeah, like you
No,
have to
it's
feel like you
not
have to
even a year.
justify yourself.
but it's like,
I think what I did learn from being on my own is that I am still really, really young at heart. I'm not immature. I can be. Everyone can be immature. Everyone can be immature. But I am young at heart. I still like going to festivals. I still like going out.
like having fun.
I like
You're
having
not boring.
fun. I'm not boring. I'm a bit of a free spirit. And if I'm to get with a guy that's older than me now, like I'm 28 now, if I get with a guy that's older than me that's early 30s, they're ready to settle down and like have kids and stuff, and I'm just not there yet. So
That's
I just
scary,
think,
isn't it?
what is wrong with getting with somebody who's a little bit younger than me? Like there isn't, and I think for
sometimes
me,
they can be more mature.
they actually can. This is the thing. I think things have changed quite a bit since we were in school, but yeah, that's one thing I would say if anyone is dating now. Like, don't be afraid to go for someone who's a little bit younger than you.
Get
Like,
yourself a toy boy. They're so much better.
get a toy boy.
They've not like they don't think
They're not
that they're
broken
bees
yet.
knees. They will look up to you like you're the most precious thing in the
Oh,
world.
I don't know about that, but
Well,
I wish that was true.
For me, based on personal experience, I feel like an older man can either be really like mature, really respectful, or they're the type that have not found a girlfriend because they're a fucking dick.
Sometimes there's a reason why they're still single.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which can
And
be concerning.
Can be.
Yeah. I think the only issue is that you find with younger guys is a lot of the time they've not done everything that they wanted to yet. Like they might still want to go travelling or do whatever. But like, the thing is, I'm 28 and I'm ready. I want to go travelling. Like I've got it set in my mind. I want to go to Australia.
Can find, like, the mix and the balance, then great.
Exactly, yeah. It's good if you can find someone that wants to do the same thing as you. And like I said, if I'm quite young at heart, then for me, someone who's a little bit younger, it's more appealing these days.
Yeah, but I actually really agree. And I think when you're finding that, as you say, you're a bit like younger spirited, younger at heart, you want to find someone that really matches your energy. I think that's the most important thing. Like
100%.
obviously you don't want someone who's like 10 years younger, whatever, but you do want to be able to find that in someone.
I'm quite hyper, and you know that. I give golden retriever energy on a daily basis. So but then also I do. It's giving ADHD at times, but like I think I just need somebody who's going to put me in my place a little bit, who's going to have a bit of a laugh with me, still open, being a bit spontaneous. Like that's what I want.
Yeah.
But,
no, love that for you.
Thanks.
Well, now we're going to get onto the real juicy bits.
Oh gosh.
So
I feel like this is where it's all going to come out.
I know. I think I need my wine for this bit actually.
I still can't remember
This
which
one.
one's yours. There you go.
So what is dating life for you right now? So we really do need to get into the Hinge scenarios, but give me a little overview, like, because this is like our daily lunchtime chats. Jess is like, so this boy and this boy and this boy. And that wasn't an insult, by the way. That was just.
I think if you've not got, you need to have options.
You need to, and we were talking about
unless
this,
you like somebody, obviously. But I think
you need a texting buddy.
You need a texting buddy. We discussed this earlier. Like I've got friends that are very happy not having anyone to speak to. They're quite happy just getting on with their day. Like I'm just not that person. I'll put my hands up. I'm needy. I'm a needy gal.
I don't really get that either.
No, I like having someone to send stupid videos to and like tell random things about my day, although I probably send you about 100 a day anyway, but I think Hinge at first was, I think when you're first single, it's like a playground and it's great and you think it's like the best thing in the world. And you think, wow, look at this. It's literally like a catalogue of people that I could look at. And then I think when it's been a couple of years, you look at it as, it's almost like a chore now. Like mine's currently deactivated, not currently using the Hinge, but yeah. It's a crazy world out there.
I've got a good question that literally just came up.
I'm scared.
So before we get into all the real horror stories, do you know how lads are always like, she didn't look how she looked on Hinge, she didn't look how she looked on a Tinder, she's a fucking ogre. Hear this on the regular. Has this ever happened with a boy? You
know what? No. One thing I will say, boys, is they always tend to be better.
Stop lying about your height.
Oh no, the height's a different story. But like boys, I just think boys aren't as photogenic as girls. They don't know the angle. They don't know the angles.
That is very true. They don't upload a picture where they've got like 10 people in it, and you're like, which one?
Or they've got sunglasses on in every photo, and I'm like, come on, hon.
I remember. Sorry, Carl, if you're listening to this, I was literally speaking to a boy on like Tinder for a good few weeks, thinking that he was someone else in his pictures, and I was oh yeah, he's really nice, blah blah. And then, good job we never fucking met him. I think I must have added him on like Snapchat or something. And I got a picture, I was like, who the fuck is
you realise
like,
it's not him?
I've been catfished!
Oh my god.
And it wasn't him, and then I had to just politely ignore and block him and be like, sorry, this is too awkward for me to explain.
Oh god. They do have bad photos. I mean, if there's any boys listening to this podcast, I'd just like to say, if you want any tips for your Hinge profile,
ask Jess.
Stop taking selfies, number one. It's for girls.
Oh, the mirror selfies.
No, and if you've got your top off in any photos other than when you were on holiday, immediate no. I don't want to see your car. Also like or your watch. Some guys like to take, like, they put loads of photos like with a dog, and it's like, I get it, you've got a dog, but it doesn't need to be your whole personality.
What about when they pose with their nieces and nephews?
And they have to put in one of the questions to one of their the answers to one of their prompts, the child isn't mine, or the baby isn't mine. I'm like,
but I look really good with the baby.
Yeah. It's like, no, that's not selling it to me. I want to see you doing things that you enjoy doing, like with your friends, candid. I don't want to see mirror selfies. I also
don't want dick pics.
No, this is worse than dick pics. I think I'd actually prefer a dick pic to this. If I see a picture of you holding a fish,
okay,
I'm out.
I know what you mean.
I'm out.
I've seen a lot.
I get it. If you like fishing, that's great. That's lovely for you. But I don't want to see you holding a big trouts.
No, I don't know. Whatever fucking fish you decide to, whatever was the catch of the day.
Whatever fish it is, whatever catch of the day is, I don't want to see it on your Hinge profile.
No, agreed.
No, but
I think we really need to promote this to men this episode.
I think so too.
This should be called, this is what you should do if you're a man on Hinge.
Because I do think sometimes I've seen people on Hinge and I've not matched with them, or I've matched with them and we've never spoken, and then I've seen them on a night out and I thought, you're alright.
Yeah.
But their profile was screaming dead.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel for lads who like have got all the personality and none of the photogenicness. Yeah. Because like
I just don't think guys are photogenic in general. We, at the end of the day, us girls, we know the angles, we know the filters.
Yeah.
We know what's good. But yeah, overall Hinge experience, I'd give it a good 7 out of 10. It's not too bad. Tinder is just an absolute no-go unless you just want like a quick one night stand. I just don't find it for anything else.
So Hinge is the way forward.
Hinge is the way forward, and also the prompts on it are pretty funny, and you can put voice notes on there as some of your answers to the prompts, so I always find them really funny as well. Sometimes I just use it for entertainment purposes, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, personally, before now I've made Jess go through a whole Hinge right next to me because I find it very entertaining.
I would too if I had my own account.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, we're not bitches and all that, you know, but it's just funny to look at and to laugh at.
It's good.
But so talking about anyone who you've actually met online, or even I suppose the main focus is online, but even people who don't have mutual friends, what's your advice for those kind of people? Like, some of them can be a bit mysterious. Yeah. Some of them can be a bit too mysterious, where like,
it's a bit scary. Yeah. It's a scary world out there. I can't lie, I think I've only been on, I actually haven't dated that much in my single time. I feel like a lot of the people that I've had stuff going on with, like, I kind of already knew before.
Yeah.
But I think I've probably had 2 Hinge dates where I've met up with them and I've not known them. We've not really had any mutual friends.
Bit scary though,
It's a bit scary. Safety wise, just have your location shared. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I do Google people. I actually talked to a
No. Oh my god, we can't.
Google people, guys. If you've got their full name,
you need to Google them.
Google them. I told Nadia earlier that
this is a bad one. This is a fucking bad one.
This is bad. This actually wasn't somebody from Hinge, but
and this is like, to be honest with you, I feel like this isn't even actually that bad when you think about.
It's not that bad.
Some of the things that you hear about.
If it was a murderer, then it would have been worse. But no. Long story short, met somebody. Googled his name. Turns out he was a benefits fraudster. So,
love that. I mean, he's got all the looks, but he's not got the bank, so we thought he needed
imagine people googling your name and finding that though. I'd be devastated. But
I'd rather people see that I was
a stripper or something.
Yeah,
I think I'd prefer that. But no, that's not. I haven't actually had any really terrible dates. I think I've been quite lucky. I have had dates where I've just thought, like, halfway through, like, I'm not feeling this. Like, I know this isn't like somebody who I want to continue seeing.
And you're good at being like, bye.
Not really.
I'm like, let's be friends.
No, I'm a really big people pleaser. So like on the day,
to be honest,
on the
I've
day,
not heard a lot of people pleaser stories from you.
On the rude.
Sorry.
No, like I don't want to hurt someone's feelings on a date. Like, they've paid to take me on a date. I'm not gonna like make them feel awful about it on the date. But like after it, I've had to say, you know, it was a lovely time, but let's just be friends. That whole
yeah, it's not me, it's you.
Yeah, but I feel like I know straight away.
It's me.
Yeah. I'm not really the kind of person where people grow on me. I'm very much like, I will know
straight away. She's a cold-hearted gal.
Somebody told me that like guys decide within like 2 seconds of
what,
like meeting somebody if they're in like the wife bucket or they're in the like fucking chuck bucket.
See, I just
like
feel
within 2 seconds.
Like that doesn't make sense to me, because in my mind I think that every man is like, I would go after anything with a pulse and then I'll decide what to do with her afterwards.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me and my man-hating self.
I know. There's a whole rant that I could go on about, like, sleeping with people on the first date and, like, whether that matters to guys and stuff. But I'm just looking at the time of this podcast and, like, do we really want to get into this at this point?
Yeah, because then I think there's going to be a real issue, because we're going to turn into hardcore feminists and I'm going to have hairy armpits by the end of the episode.
Yeah, let's not. Let's
know. But no, I definitely think that it can be a little bit strange and it can be a little bit scary, especially if you don't know. When I was 18 and I was like on Tinder and stuff, this is before Tinder was Tinder, like how it is now. And I would go on dates with people and like I'm pretty sure there was no such thing as sharing location. Like, it's.
I don't think it's a new thing, but I think it's only something that people have started using now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the whole like, but still, I like can't believe that uni was like 5 years ago, and the whole like social media thing has just gone bang. Like, it's just even like I was posting my uni pictures on Facebook, like, and that was 5 years ago, and that makes you feel old as fuck, old as fuck. But I think it has such a huge part in, obviously, like, think about if you've never had the option to go onto the likes of Hinge and stuff like that.
How do people meet people without?
I don't know, because I have a lot of friends who've met their other half
organically, or through dating apps.
But a lot who've met them through dating apps too.
Yeah.
Like, one of my best friends, like, they probably would have never met. But then that's the thing of like, I used to be of the opinion like, you know, if it's meant to be, I'll meet them in person, but it's not a thing anymore, of course. Like, that is an organic way to meet people. It's an
expensive lifestyle as well. Like, if I have a weekend in, I mean, I'm pretty good at being on my own, but I do have times where I'm like, I feel a bit lonely. Like, I do wish I had somebody. It happens occasionally where I'll just sit there and I'll be like, oh my god, my life's a shambles. I'm 28, I don't have anyone.
The boy who
who treated me like shit, I'm just going to text him anyway because I need a bit of attention because I'm feeling lonely. Like, that does happen to me, but I've got pretty good at not doing that.
So while we're like on the deep subject, I was going to leave this for a minute. What would you say is like the best and worst about being single? So obviously you just said about wanting to, feeling lonely is a huge one. Like, when I was single for years, like, before I got into my relationship, I was single forever, and I used to just always be jealous of people having that company.
Yeah.
That was all it was. You just want like that extra friend who's always there. What is it like for you? What would you say is like the
pros
worst?
and cons?
Yeah.
Pros are probably, I mean, I've never been in a relationship where like someone's kind of like questioned where I am and things like that, so I've always been pretty lucky with that. I've never had someone that's like been quite controlling, but it is quite nice knowing I can go and, you know, go on a night out and no one questions where I am or what I'm doing. You know, that's a good thing. I've got a lot of time to spend with my friends and my family. I don't have to worry about anybody else. I feel like the process, I thought the process would be really long, and I'm actually really struggling with this, but cons, this is probably going to be a longer one.
No, but also, like, I feel like some of what you said as well, like, I feel like when you're with the right person, they probably don't always question where you are every second. Like, yes, it's that thing of, like, not having to sort of ever answer to anyone, which, don't get me wrong, is really nice.
Yeah.
But also then, even what you mentioned about like friends and stuff, do you think that like your friends will be around quite a lot? Are they do you feel like you want to have more single friends? Is that important to you?
I think it's important to have at least one single friend, because one thing I will say, like, this kind of like leads back to what I said about somebody asking where you are and things like that. I feel like if I want to go to a party or something like that, and there's going to be a load of guys there, like if I want to go, if I want to go with a mate that's got a boyfriend, she's got to then speak to her boyfriend and like check it's okay, which is like the right thing to do, I might add. But like, I don't miss that. I don't miss having, you know, at the end of the night out, one of my friends saying, "Oh, do you want to come back to this party?" And me thinking, "Oh God, should I really do that? I've got a boyfriend. Like, it's probably going to make him feel uncomfortable. Like, should I do that or not?" I don't miss that feeling, but my friends are really good, to be fair. Like, every time we go out, like, if I see somebody who I like the look of or whatever, they'll always wing woman me. To be honest, my nights are so mixed. Like, on some nights out, I'll go out and I'll be like, not on the prowl, that sounds awful.
On the prowl? She is every night.
That sounds terrible, but like, if I go out and I think, oh, it'd be nice if I met somebody tonight, but then I'll have some nights where I just think that is at the back of my mind.
Yeah,
like,
you just want to go outside.
I just want to go out and get drunk with the girls and have a good time. But
but I don't think it should matter either, though. If you know you've got single friends, as long as they're not completely ditching you for the whole night, it shouldn't matter if they want to speak
if one of them
someone
wants to dip out to go and see a sneaky link for an hour, I'm like, you go, girl.
You go live your best life, hon.
Go do what you got to do, you know what I mean? We've got needs.
Yeah,
but
completely for it.
Cons. Cons are probably, you know, like anything where it's like bring a plus one or anything like that. This is such a random one, but like,
no, it's very
it's not nice. You're like, oh, who can I take? It's like, oh, I don't have anyone. Like, every time I go see my nan, my nan's like, have you got a boyfriend yet? And I'm like, no,
I used to hate that.
I'm like, no, I haven't. Like, I don't need one. But like, also, like, whenever she asks me, I'm like, that's a firm reminder that I am alone.
I feel like it should be more focused on, how are you?
How's job?
What's your career like?
Yeah,
like
it is like an old school like way of looking at things, but like events and stuff that you'd normally take someone to. I think when your friends, when like you ask any of your friends like to go do something, they're like, I can't, I'm with my boyfriend. I'm like, I would love to have somebody to sit in with. And for me, a relationship, you should be best friends before anything. And I definitely miss having that. Like, I just want to say, like, I know that I've said quite a bit about my previous relationship, but it wasn't always bad. Like, he's not a bad person, he just did bad things. But we were best friends for a really long time, and I think that's the bit that I kind of grieved when it ended. I didn't really grieve the relationship, I grieved the friendship that was there.
It's sort of like a disassociation between one version and another. It's like you hate one version, but you'll remember another.
Yeah, and I'm guilty for that. I'm so bad at doing this. Like, if something bad happens, like with somebody, if they do something bad to me, I always like remember all the good things, and I really struggle to remember the bad things they did to me, because I'm naturally quite a like loving, like attached person, so I struggle to like look at the bad things. But yeah, I don't know, it's you know, it's a good time being single, but I do think you should be single for a long time after a relationship. But I also do think that you know, you do hit a point where you think, I'm ready for a relationship now. I think I'm ready. I don't know. Do you think I'm ready?
I do think you're ready, because I think you need to find, like, Mr. Right is there. I feel like when you think about relationships, it's always, you know, there can be that thing of, oh, maybe maybe I'm gonna miss this, or maybe I won't get to do this. But if you find your cup of tea, then they'll want to do all them things. I've talked about this multiple times where like I can literally relate to when I was single. Everything you're saying before I was in a relationship, that was literally me. Like everything that you've mentioned about going to things alone, like all of my friends would be in relationships and I wouldn't be. And then I'd always think, oh, everyone would say to me, oh yeah, but you get to do this and you get to do that. But me and Callum will be the last two up in the party. Like we'll be at the ones at the raves.
You need to find someone where you're not actually missing out on anything with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that person is there.
I think so. I think
it's just finding them and at the right time.
It's about the right time as well. Like I said to you before, like I don't plan on living here forever. Like I'm quite set on going to Australia at some point. I don't know.
Me too, hon. We'll all be down under.
We're all living.
We're all going down under. I'm taking my couch with me.
Yeah, take the couch. The couch is lovely. But yeah, I need to find someone who's gonna fit into that. Whether it's I meet somebody out there, somebody with a nice mullet and a moustache, or whether I meet somebody before I
can't
go.
see you with someone with a muzzy. Not really.
And the muzzy's not for me. Facial hair's not for me. But no, I don't know. I think everything is timing, isn't it? And whether you're ready. And I think I am ready now, but I'm also not in a massive rush. Like, I'm 28. I don't want to waste like another 3 years with a dead end relationship. I would rather wait till I'm 40 and meet the right person than like get with the wrong person now. So
because I think there's a lot of pressure, especially like as women, to be like, you have to settle down. You have to do this. I'm like, honey, I'm not in the 1940s anymore.
No, like you've got to have a house, you've got to have kids. Like, no, that's not the case at all. Like, I mean, even if you look at like my mum, for example, like she's been married, she's now remarried, and she's the happiest.
I didn't know that.
She's the happiest person ever with my stepdad. Like her and my dad still have a good relationship and everything, but like they just weren't right for each other. And it took my mum. It took my mum like a marriage that didn't work out to find her person. And I just think it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah.
Like I kind of hope it happens soon because it's a tough world out there for us single gals, but it is what it is.
You've got your friends, and like it's literally fine to like be single. It's fine to be wherever that you are supposed to be at right now. And I think also this is even a reminder for even people in relationships that everybody's situation is different. So like regardless of what you might hear happening to someone else, doesn't mean it's going to happen for you. Your situation could be, as you say, like your mum's, where you know there's so much that happens. Maybe it's not the first person, but you can't really spend every day thinking about that. I think the more that it's like when people say things happen when you're not looking for them.
You do, and you learn from previous experiences. Like I'm sure my mum would probably say that she learned what she wanted and what she didn't want in a first relationship. I mean, she's got 4 beautiful children out of the situation, me being the best.
Especially this one.
Obviously. But, you know, everything, like I said, like if she hadn't gone through that, she wouldn't have had 4 kids.
Exactly.
Like, she probably wouldn't have met my stepdad. Like, everything happens when it should happen, I think. I mean, I'd like to think that it would happen soon for me, but I'm not in a massive rush. And I just think it is important that people know that they're in a similar situation to me, that there isn't any rush.
No.
What is the rush? What is the rush?
You shouldn't just jump into something because you feel the
because
pressure.
You're lonely.
Of everything.
I think that's the worst thing you can possibly do. And I just think as well, if you spend enough time on your own,
you know
that
who
when
you are.
You know who you are, and when the right person comes along, you won't push them away because you don't know what's up from down.
Yeah.
Like spend some time on your own, learn what you like and what you don't like. You know, experience things.
In case anyone can't see me, I'm clicking.
We don't know if this is actually recording right now.
No, it might have stopped.
I hope it hasn't because
I really do.
The clicking was great. I'm here for that. But yeah, it's fine to be on your own. I think that's the bottom line. But,
100%.
And also, like, go out there and experience stuff. Go speed dating. Like, I still haven't done this yet. I know. Shout out to James.
Yeah, she's
so
bailed on him.
I bailed on him. James from work is also single, but we were going to go to speed dating. I bailed out.
Everyone was banking on me and a couple, and then like we just.
Sorry, James. Friends. Not going to happen.
It's super awkward for Jess to talk about.
It's actually really not awkward. No. Me and James are friends.
No, I feel like as well though, if you find yourself a good single friend, you can have that like coming around. It instantly just.
Everyone in work is in a relationship except me and James.
But that's why everyone, like, if this is you as well, don't let people push you into situations because you're a target straight away.
We
immediately.
look like brother and sister, so
I mean that is true.
We do look like brother
I
and
suppose that's
sister.
the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally it's the same with anything. You can't rush anything the way it's supposed to be. It doesn't matter what you do.
No.
The right thing comes around when it's supposed to. That even needs to be a tip that I tell myself, because there's loads of things that you can relate.
It applies to all life, not just relationships. I feel that.
Yeah.
Everything does happen when it's supposed to happen.
Exactly. And single, relationship, whatever it is, you've got to be happy with yourself, who you are. Preaching.
Oh, she's going. The clicks are back out again. I'm here for it.
But yeah, 100%. And I feel like that is like a really nice point to sort of end on. And like, you follow Jess. She is an absolute inspo. She's loving life, and the right good boy will be there.
Yeah.
If he's not, I'm gonna be very angry.
If he's not,
I say if he's not. I mean, if the next few were not good to you, then that's when I'm gonna be angry. But
yeah,
I know
I've got very protective friends. Any boys out there?
Yeah,
that are thinking of pursuing me.
Back off.
My friends are protective, so
absolutely back off.
Yeah.
But it's been super weird to actually be acting like a host when I'm literally just
I've loved it. I've actually
no,
really enjoyed
I've
it.
loved it, but on the intro/outro, I'm a little bit of an awkward gal.
Yeah.
But I also want to say thanks to my gorgeous friends for being here with me. We're going to go and keep drinking wine, but make sure if you like this episode that you share it with someone that you know. Send it on to all your friends. Give them a little bit of a laugh. But thank you, as always, for listening. And I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for having me. How exciting.
You're welcome. Love you. I was like, love you, bye.
Love you,
bye. Bye.